Okay, I'm going to try and flip this around in post because I just realised it's that whiteboard backwards. Yes, and maybe it won't look. We'll see. Anywho, these questions. They've got a tendency to come up a lot on papers, as I discovered, and I really didn't know them in a lot of the assessment weeks. So let me talk you through them. You got kind of the aim of these is to make an exponential curve like this, or like this, if you can read that. So you've got two types. You've got y equals a b to the power of x, and y equals ax to the power of b. They both basically work the same, but they have a slight difference. Your curve will look something like this if you immediately plot that on. So instead you have to make it logarithmic. You presume that's a whole lot of rearranging, which is what I usually got scared of, but it's not. What actually you're doing is you're making this, so this is a direct one of this, log y, and you're making this, so you're splitting it using your laws of logs. So, because b is the power of x, you move the x to the front, it would be x log b. Add, because anything that's multiplied is added when you transform it into a log. Add log a. Now, if you plot that on a graph, it will look like this. It will look like a linear graph, and this is a linear equation. So you can equate that to y equals mx plus c, with the log b being the m, the x being the x, c. And then you plot that on a graph with log y being the y-axis and that being the x-axis. Now, what often gets confusing is there are the other ones where your equation will be laid out as y equals ax to the power of b. Now, in this case, it's the exact same thing because obviously you always want your x and y, your variables, to be on the axis. It won't always be x and y. In the 2018 paper, it's v and t. Whatever it is, you want them to be on the x-axis, x and y-axes. And on this, you want it to be on the constants. You want to make sure they're not on it. So in this case, you make log x on the axis. Now, if you're actually solving this in an equation, I'll give you one of two things. Maybe they'll show you the intercept here, or maybe they will literally write out a linear equation. So for something like this, if let's say we have log y, b log x plus log a, and they say this can be written as a linear equation, they might give you y equals, split of it. Actually, yeah, let's do this one. Y equals half log x. No. Yeah, wait. It'll give you some along the lines of. Why? Actually, let's get a fast paper question for this. It'll give you something along the lines of y equals. You can write it as like y equals half x plus 0.25. Something like that. In this case, then, because you've got that, you've got the gradient now. B, in this case, would equal a half. You won't have to do anything because B, when rearranged, is the gradient. But here, with log A, you would just make it a log equation. It will pretty much always be log to the base of 10. If it's not, it will set on the graphs on all of the past equations, unless they're going to throw you a curveball, which hopefully they don't. But in this case, because that's your intercept and that's your intercept there, so that's the equivalent of C. Then you would arrange equation. So log to the base of 10a equals 0.25, because these both equal C. And then that would obviously be 10 quarter equals A. And everyone say what 10 to the power of a quarter is? I'm not sure, but you can figure that out. When I am not maybe if I ever edit these videos, I'll flash that on screen, but I don't think I'm editing them today. Anywho, that's kind of a brief recap. It's more for me consolidating it, Not sure if that's great teaching, but if you do want to know anything more about it,